that the function is only free if the validator himself calls it, but by definition, since validators set their own fees anyway, they could just, a little too technical. A lot of people are like, what? I do not think that the inflation, or I do not think that the incentive coin is going to have a sacrifice phase. I believe that that is only going to be given as a reward to people that provide liquidity, and probably heavily weighted towards those that are providing liquidity that is bridged in from the Ethereum network. Because during the initial launch phases, I think that is an extremely important component of the system. It's for people to bridge in their ERC20s to back the value of the free PRC20s that they received by being liquidity providers and receiving the incentive token as a reward for doing so. So no, there will not be a sacrifice phase for the incentive token. Hello, Richard. Merry Christmas. Hope all the best. Thanks, man. The chair boss hooked me up. Respect. I like to call it a throne. Merry Christmas. Thanks for everything. Thank you. Richard, you're doing a great job for the community. What will be the total supply of pulsechain? Function of how much USD value gets sacrificed. You just multiply that by 10,000x, and that's your supply. Also, there's some bonuses in there, so you also have to account for the bonuses. Is burning accomplished by sending coins to an account which has an unknown private key? Yes, traditionally the burn function in ERC20s is to send the coins to an address that is 0x00000000, which by definition cannot have a private key. And interesting fact, private keys are what generate addresses. Or to be more specific, private keys are what generate public keys, which are what generate addresses. Will the staker app receive PHEX, Pulse, and PLX tokens from the sacrifice once everything is launched? The staker app is just a wallet. If you have HEX in your staker app wallet, then you will also have HEX on the Pulse chain. If you have stakes in the staker app wallet, you will also have stakes on the Pulse chain. Neither of those is related in any way to the PLS token, the PLSX token, or the PLS token. If you sacrificed for those two things, then yes, you should be able to do that through the staker app. It's just another Ethereum wallet. As long as you have your keys, you're good. If you don't have your keys, you're not good. How will pulsechain and pulsechain go with global regulation with the SEC? God. Hey man, did you know the SEC said that EOS was an unregistered security? And did you know that EOS settled with the SEC for $27 million and got an exemption from the SEC to continue doing business? And you can buy and use EOS today. So is there any record of the SEC taking down a functioning chain by calling it a security? I mean, they even said Filecoin was a security, didn't they? Filecoin's functioning. So this parade of imaginary horrors crap that I hear, it bothers me. Now, if you want to talk about, and I don't know why you do, but apparently you do, what is sufficiently decentralized? If what you have is sufficiently decentralized and people don't put money into a common pool with the expectation of profit solely from the work of others, and there is no essential managerial or entrepreneurial effort, you don't have a security. Oh, and then fun fact, because you seem like a hater, I like it when I hear people say things like SEC is going to lock people up. the SEC is not a criminal enforcement agency and cannot lock you up and does not have agents to kick in your door and lock you up. They are not the Department of Justice. The most they can do is file civil lawsuits and or refer things to the Department of Justice so that they can do their job. So that's a little bit of education for you. Furthermore, the vast majority of human behaviors are not regulated by the SEC. You have a problem with your employer? Not the SEC. You bought a work from home business opportunity? Not the SEC. Your boyfriend slapped your little hater mouth too hard, made your eyes tear up? Not the SEC. So why people have these fan fiction fantasies of like, so I respect what the SEC does. They want to stop people from getting scammed. I love that, and I hope that they do a wonderful job at stopping people from getting scammed. I'm out here working hard to achieve what the SEC is trying to achieve. The SEC wants people to stop getting scammed. I want people to stop getting scammed. Here's the difference between us. I see people losing hundreds of thousands of dollars to scams on YouTube every day. And I do everything I can to try and educate people to stop falling for that. I don't see the SEC doing that. So in that area, I am doing more to stop scams than the SEC is. I try to get people to realize that the prices drop 85% in cryptocurrency really often. I don't hear that type of messaging from the SEC. I hear things like risk and volatility, but people don't understand that means 85% drop. And so I'm more accurate in explaining the risk and the likelihood of incurring that risk than they are. And so, I respect what they're doing. I hope that they do a great job at it, but it looks like I'm doing more to stop scams than they are currently. And I hope that they can learn from some of the tactics I'm trying to use to help prevent people from getting scammed. You got to think about it. There's jurisdictional arbitrage. So because they're a US-based entity, they don't have subpoena power and investigative power and enforcement power and injunctive power internationally as they would in the US. And then they can only usually act after the fact. And usually if someone's already been scammed out of all their money, it doesn't get brought back to them. And so in my opinion, there's only 3 ways to prevent scams. Not that you care about that because you're just a hating piece of crap, my guess. But if you care about humans the way I do and you actually want to see them stop getting scammed, there's only 3 ways that I know of that you can do it. And only one of them can actually work. So one is you give more funding and hire more people for enforcement. And it doesn't work because of regulatory arbitrage. If you've got countries where they can't enforce the murder laws, they're definitely not enforcing the make a token laws. Second, they only act post facto for the most part, and they don't get the money back for the most part. And so, furthermore, they don't have the marketing budget, right? Like I have the time to go and edit all my usernames and tell people beware imposters, don't fall for scam websites, don't fall for scam giveaways, don't fall for fake MetaMasks. I have to give this I've got a whole video dedicated on how not to get scammed, which by the way, I don't see the SEC producing that content. I made a whole video on how not to get scammed in crypto. And so I'm trying to achieve the same goals they're trying to achieve. I probably have more followers on YouTube than they do, so maybe I'm making more impact, right? But we're trying to achieve the same goals. We don't want to see people get scammed. So what's the third way, right? So you have amplify enforcement. Doesn't work because of regulatory arbitrage. Arbitrage isn't the right word, but multiple jurisdictions exist. You've got the fact that they don't have a marketing budget, right? And even if they did, no one believed their sales pitch. Yelling at people, please stop getting scammed, doesn't work. They don't even believe you. They believe the scams instead of you. And half the time, if you're not really artful with it, you'll advertise the scam by saying what not to do. They'll type the website and they'll go get scammed by the website, which is why I invented something called the risk diode, where if you're already being scammed, I give you enough info to know that you're being scammed, but I don't introduce new people to the scam by mentioning it by name and giving you a URL to go to go get scammed by. These are tactics that I've learned over years of experience in the industry to help get people better outcomes. So what's the third thing that actually can work? If you make a superior product that has product market fit, that meets people's needs, that has the features and benefits that they want, then that can go and on-ramp people. And when that thing absorbs their money, whether it's an index fund and the S&P 500, whether it's just buying whatever stocks people think are the golden boy stocks, any of those things keeps their money out of the hands of the scammers. Because if someone has already invested their investable income into something that is safe and secure and awesome, then they don't have it left to get taken away by the scammers. And so real world useful products that make the world more efficient, that remove counterparty risk, that remove middlemen, that reduce fees, these things make the world, that have better hours, that have better features, these things make the world a better place. And then the more money that goes into these things, the less money is left over for the disgusting scammers. And if you have profit margins on those things and you operate a business, then you can afford to do marketing against the scammers. Because traditionally it's very hard to market against scammers because they have infinite profit margins since they're just scamming. They get the money and they don't have actual costs of performing actual business. So in my opinion, the correct way, the scalable way to have maximum impact to prevent people from being scammed is to get everyone invested into things that are awesome so that their money is not sitting there to get them scammed out of. So similar to the phrase like idle hands are the devil's playground, people sitting on all this helicopter money that the Fed keeps printing, they invest in a lot of very stupid things, like serial numbers loosely related to JPEGs, or coins where they just change the logo. How is that making the world more efficient? Or coins that have a 10% fee to transfer your coin. It costs you 10% to get in, 10% to get out, which means if you buy, you're instantly already down 20% on paper. Terrible, right? Yeah, so my respect to the SEC. We have the same intention. We want to see people stop getting scammed. But it's tragic to me that in chat rooms and in cryptocurrency communities, the only time people mention the SEC is to, one, hate on them, or to two, try and use them as a threat against other people. You're just like, what? So people that love freedom of choice, there's all the... Yeah. So when it comes to the dirty, toxic parts of the crypto communities, I side with the SEC. I probably would have a much better dinner and time and enjoyable time speaking to the people at the SEC than the disgusting, toxic haters that run in little pockets in crypto communities. The vast majority of crypto communities aren't these disgusting, hateful people, but I see them. And they literally have toxic badges. They have a little orange and white toxic badge in their username. And as soon as you see that, hide and block. You don't even got to bother talking to them because they take pride in being hateful. Same thing with, you go to someone's profile page, it says troll, hide, block. Most of the people that have frog JPEGs or clown JPEGs as their profile picture, you'll see that they all have very similar trolling behaviors. And they don't just troll you. That's what they log in and they just troll everybody all day long, and that's all they do. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Mark Giuseppe. Mark Giuseppe. I hope that answers your question. Or no, that was not Mark Giuseppe's question. Sorry, this was Visionaire's question. I hope that answers your question. If I see any more hater comments from you, you're getting the ban. But that was borderline, right? You might not really be a hater, but I get hater vibes. We'll see. Have you thought of doing a world tour to promote HEX/Pulse? Well, Peter Green, I just drove my Ferrari 6,000 kilometers, which took 80 hours of driving for 4 months, and traveled across something like, 15 countries. I'm good, man. Thanks. I kind of already did the Europe tour thing. Thanks. So the answer to the question is I kind of already did that. Not like about to go. I mean, heck. I was just in the UK, what? The 4th? The 2nd? 24 days ago? Hey, Richard, what do you think of the current state of inflation, and how do you think it's going to affect the crypto market? It's bullish for the crypto market. It's bearish for normal human beings being able to eat and pay for the roofs over their heads and ever buy anything. You're in high school, you want to buy a house? Sorry, man. Never going to happen. Sorry. Somebody asked me a weird hippie question about chakras. No thanks, man. What are your predictions for pulsechain and pulsechain in 2022? No crystal ball. I don't know, man. Maybe they do what HEX did. I don't know. Similar communities, great design. Why wouldn't they do something similar to what HEX did? About 3,000 watching. Smash that like button. Yes, everyone, please smash the like button and smash the subscribe and the bell and all. Any chance we'll see a testnet v3? Yeah. You don't want to go to mainnet until you've tested absolutely everything. Deploying the sacrifice credits is part of everything. So yeah, there should be a testnet v3. Hello, Richard. You're the best person on the planet. You've done so much for everyone. Big thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Alex Cobb. Bro, if you make a shirt that says stay wrecked, I'd buy it. Thanks, man. Hey, Richard. Huge thanks for being such a genius. 2 months ago, I had no idea about how the whole crypto even works. I'm so glad that I joined just now. Hey, my pleasure, Adam. Just flex the PP on those haters, Rich. Nice. Auto-burning logic purchases at market price. Can it happen that Pulse tokens run out of stock more or less if the volume becomes huge? You can't actually empty a Uniswap V2 pairs from trading. It's literally impossible. So they'll become very rare, but you can't run it out. Just the decimals keep moving and moving and moving. I'm listening to this in the background the moment I hear, here we go. I think you're about to get banned. Yeah, I love it. I just got into the live, Richard. So what do I have to do to receive my coins from MetaMask ERC20 as airdrop on Pulse Chain? You don't have to do anything. There you go. It's pretty cool, huh? I mean, you'll if you want to use them, then you should change one network setting. If you want to go experiment on the testnet now to see what that looks like, just Google GitLab Pulse Chain testnet and then follow the instructions. Or the community can help you, t.me/pulsechaincom. What's your favorite Christmas food? That's a good question. I don't know if it's technically Christmas food, but I love some pot roast with carrots and onions. Delicious. Richard, what music do? My favorite music is drum and bass, neurofunk, tech step, but I listen to everything. Listen to Doja Cat, Rufus Du Sol, Lane 8, Led Zeppelin. Like, if it's good music, there's a good chance I like it. I have 10K to invest. Is this correct move investing in HEX? Look, man, I don't know what's going to outperform what. Does HEX beat Pulse X? Or does PulseX beat Pulse beat HEX? I don't know. So I know that the Pulse X sacrifice is coming up in a few days. You probably should really check that out. Who else? Who else in here identifies as a pulse hexual? It's pretty funny. What's your favorite interview I've done so far? I've done a lot of good ones, man. I can't pick a favorite. How much XLM was sacrificed? I tweeted it. You'd have to go look it up. I think it might have been like somewhere between 500K and 2 million USD equivalent is my recollection, but you could check the tweet. Or you could just look up the address. David Aaron Artist says, Buenas tardes a todos. Feliz año nuevo. Yes, sir. Good evening to you and Happy New Year. But kind of like Merry Christmas currently, which I think is Feliz Navidad. Richard, how will pulsechain and pulse... Oh my God, this guy again. Bro, I hope your chat catches up, man. Because I like laid into you for a good 15 minutes. Looking buff, you working out? I think I'm going to put the muscle back on quick, man. Feeling swole, like loading this creatine. And I'm only 4 days into chins and chin up some push-ups every morning. Because you got to remember, at my weight, right now I'm like 239 pounds. Which kind of sucks because I was 230, after COVID. So I don't know whether it's just water weight or whatever. But yeah, when I'm doing chin-ups, it's a lot more weight than most people doing them. When I'm doing push-ups, it's a lot more weight than most people doing them. So me doing these exercises is like not so many reps because there's so much weight. So I think because of that, it feels to me like I'm getting stronger very quickly. We'll see, right? Because after I do the body weight for a while, I'll probably, test my max bench and throw the deadlifts in there. And the weight in the bar is just sitting there. Just need to lift it, right? I don't want to start burning out early. I want to ease into it. Because what matters is consistency. That's the most important thing. There's a reason you do it first thing in the morning. Nothing gets in the way. Yeah. What do I think of the James Webb Telescope and what it could reveal? I don't really care, truthfully. My grandparents are dead. My dog is dead. You're looking off into space. Don't care. Soon my parents will be dead and I'll be dead. How about we work on that instead of fooling around? I gotta remember where I left off. My God. What's your opinion on pulse-related meme coins? Look, man, if I didn't build it, the stuff usually has problems. And sometimes the problems are critical and deadly and goes to zero. I do not advocate or advertise or allow to even be talked about in my chat other projects. So if I have the time one day to go and try and look at other people's projects to try and see if they're any good or not, to see if people should buy their ticker symbols instead of the ones that I invented, when am I going to get that time? So look, I hope lots of awesome stuff launches and I hope it works out for everybody. But I neither have the incentive to spend my time advertising their stuff. Like, why? Why would I do that? When have you seen Vitalik advertising ERC20? Vitalik doesn't even yield farm. He doesn't use Ethereum. He just sits on it. He doesn't use it. He just sits on it. So look at the incentives. How many times has the HEX community been burnt by coins that have targeted it directly? A couple times. And it's to the detriment of the HEX community. Anything that targets Hexicans, it's usually worked out very poorly for them. And so I, in general, don't like it. And then if you're going to on-ramp other users that aren't Hexicans, aren't Pulsicans, if you're going to on-ramp them from other places, well, then there's less risk to the people that I care most about. And so enjoy the low fees, enjoy the world's largest airdrop, but you're not going to see me shilling random coins just because they're on the Pulse network. Why? So people can get wrecked? And some of these coins have already rug pulled. There was some coin called Pulse Moon, rugged. So like, no, my opinion of these duct tape on the word pulse to your garbage, horrible rug pull idea, it disgusts me. I don't like it. So look, hopefully there's some guys that have ethics and morals and launch good things and don't harm people. Go and make it on your own. You don't need me diluting my community and risking my community's health and their funds on your experiment. Like, so. Well, I have the best interests of my community in mind, and like, we've seen these things before, and I'm very, 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 very weary of them. Hey Richard, can we sacrifice our ERC20 hex and get PRC20 hex? Not right now. If you sacrifice your ERC20 hex, you're going to get sacrifice credit for supporting a political statement. You're going to get free coins. But if you want to like swap your ERC20 hex for PRC20, you have to wait for the PRC20 to exist, which is Mainnet. Thoughts on the ETH halving roughly March next year? I don't think that's a thing. I don't think Ethereum has a halving function built into it. Hey Richard, PulseX is going to be deflationary, as you said. Is there a point in time at which the burn stops? Theoretically, it could reach low supply. If you burn all the coins, can you imagine what the price would be? And if you magically burnt all the coins and you were a zillionaire from the price being zillionaire mode, then you would just do something that looks similar to a stock split, where you just fork the network and issue a multiple more coins to everybody, which in effect just moves the decimal place. And so now you'll still own the same percentage of the supply, but you'll just have more units. But it ain't going to happen. So there's 150 trillion roughly supply of Pulse. I think you'll be okay. Richard soon will be running these crypto streets. Naga tribe. Respect. Is there any YouTube about how the AMM works, or is it all new knowledge? Yeah, I mean, AMMs are real simple. X times Y equals K constant product. Sounds hard. It's actually really easy. You have 10 of coin A, you have 10 of coin B. You enter 10 more units, doubling the supply in the pair of coin A. And now you get half of coin B, which leaves a 4-to-1 ratio, which means that every time you double one side, you cut in half the other side and you 4x the price, because the price is literally just the ratio between the two things. And so price moves as a square. If you 3x the supply on one side, then the price becomes 9x. If you 10x the supply of one side, the price becomes 100x. So now this is in automated market makers that use the X times Y equals K formula, such as Uniswap v2, which PulseX will be a fork of. There are other systems that automate. They have different curves. They have time delays. They have asymmetrical liquidity. They're not symmetrical. So there's other automated market maker systems out there. The one that we're using, the Uniswap v2 one, is an X times Y equals K constant product. Now, if you want to get deeper into the woods and read some white papers and some studies, you can go to t.me/hex crypto and type !uni, and it's going to tell you all of those things. It's going to give you the easy version. It's going to give you the hard version. There's a bot that responds to that ! Command. !UNI. Bro, when is Mainnet going live? When it's ready, bro. I've never given an accurate time estimate on software, and very few people have. Software's hard. It's ready when it's ready. Hopefully a couple months. I already answered the central bank digital coin. You can rewind to it. Back-to-back Christmas streams. Yeah, pretty cool, right? We've been live for an hour and 43 minutes. One sacrifice, trying to go on vacation. I would like to see it in a couple days. I mean, it could be tomorrow. It could be the day after. Thank you so much for all this knowledge. I've never seen this level of truth anywhere in the crypto space. Thanks, Chuck Whitehead. Appreciate it, man. Richard, get a shirt that says Daddy. I think I was given such a shirt already. It's in my closet somewhere. But good idea. Richard, the best human being on the planet. I don't know about that, but thank you very much. Appreciate the compliment. Who inspires you? The HEX community. I think Hexologist is awesome. He's very inspiring. Family man, hardworking, builds these nice thumbnails you see in the vids. I'm a new Hexagon. Thanks for your video, Richard. My pleasure, Justin Buni. Never seen that name before, man. Buni. Okay. Bune. Best place to get PulseX sacrifice instructions, wait for pulsex.com to have text put on it. Or if you want to get, a good overview of what it's very likely to go like, go to pulsechain.com and read the text on there. It's going to be very similar. If you want to see kind of what sacrificing kind of looks like, you can go to pulse.info. But do not sacrifice pulse.info. The rate's 2,200 times higher than day one of the pulse chain sacrifice. You're probably better off sacrificing for PulseX, but hey, it depends on which political statement you prefer, I guess. The first one was for free speech. The next one is for freedom of movement. Richard's the best founder, period. Can't wait for the rest of the world to find out. Agree, man. Thanks. Just checked. I hit the like button. Good stuff, man. Everybody, hit like, subscribe, click the bell, click all. And hit me on Insta, instagram.com/RichardHartOfficial. Could use some more followers there. I've only got like 13K followers on Insta. I've got like 140 on Twitter. Twitter.com/RichardHartWin. Merry Christmas from Saudi Arabia. When Pulse Chain launching? How can we trade PRC20 coins, especially in the beginning? There'll be no bridge. Yeah, correct. Why don't you go trade your PRC20s right now on the testnet? Google Pulse Chain GitLab testnet and go trade your PRC20s on the testnet right now. There's a Uniswap. Maybe you're just better off going to t.me/pulsechaincom and the bot will tell you where the the URL is for Uniswap. What do you think Hexagons can use their wealth to collectively make meaningful political changes? Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you work on fiat on-ramps first? Every human being in the United States should be able to buy with their bank wires or with cash, Pulse, PulseX, HEX, now. Like, some of them don't exist yet, but for the coins that do exist right now, like HEX, we need fiat on-ramps. So work on that. Pick a state, get a money transmitter license in the state, take their money, buy on Uniswap, give them what they deserve, make your fee. Do that. We need fiat on-ramps. We don't need them, but they're very nice. And it's an opportunity for you to make money. And perhaps make the coins that you like more valuable. I missed out on HEX because I didn't have enough money. I will not do it with PulseX. Glad to hear it, man. Donkey Kongington is his name. What do you think about USDT? Are they really backed, and how will it affect crypto if not? If USDT fails, the price of real coins will go up in value because everyone will exit their USDT positions into real cryptos that don't have admin key risk, probably. Like HEX. And Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if PulseX exists and Pulse Chain exists, those things. How long will V3 last for? Probably not very long at all. Like writing the sacrifice numbers, we've already done it. So we've already done it on our own private test nets. We've already wrote the sacrifice numbers. So you could almost say it's a useless test, but I prefer to be over secure. So even though it might be useless, and even though we already did it on our own parallel private test net, I would still want to write those values publicly. DNA or what? How come you're so clever? I got lucky with the smart genes. and then I just read a lot. So the difference is being useful. You could read a lot. Look, I just got recently murdered in Trivial Pursuit by a friend of mine. Totally murked. I didn't even get a tile. Well, that's fine. He's really good at all the knowledge that doesn't matter. And I'm really good at the knowledge that does. So you have to choose what you're going to be bad at. I choose to be bad at a lot of things. Like, I don't know who's playing what sport. I don't watch sports. I'm busy making the world a better place. Are you making the world a better place when you watch sports? Probably not. So I'm choosing to play a different game. And playing that better game leaves residual value. I'm able to add more value over time. The stuff that I learn is profitable. It's not profitable to know who's on first and who's on second and who's pitching and none of that stuff. There's no money in it. Man, I'm getting pretty hungry here. Very hungry. That position about the SEC I support. Thanks, Jeremiah Mosomi. We need more girls in crypto, especially in HEX, Pulse, and PulseX. I'm doing my part onboarding my fellow girl pharmacists. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Sandy Beach. And I agree with you. I like girls a lot. So the more the merrier. You were the light. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hot Chili 2304. Richard, other than crypto, do you entertain any other form of investment? I'm a real big fan of crypto, dude. Everything else pales in comparison so much that you might as well not talk about it. I mean, I got like $3 million of watches sitting here, and they went up maybe 30%, but who cares? Like, crypto matters so much more. Getting a Hex and Pulse tattoo next year, can't wait. Cool, Harry Dillon White. Yeah, you guys are getting tattoos. I wouldn't get the Pulse X tattoo. I think we can do a little bit better. It's 80% as good as we can do, but I think we can do better. Hex does what Bitcoin does, just better. Thanks, Hex Fetty. My wife told me she thought I was watching the same video of you over and over again since 2017. I told her it's a new stream every time. Do I not have shorter hair now? Do I not have cooler clothes? Am I not surrounded by millions of dollars of different stuff? Come on. Tell your wife she's not looking. Tell her to zoom in. Or get her glasses, I guess. There's no like button on YouTube. They're actually spare life and death sentence. All right. I think the algorithm weights likes and dislikes similarly. They like engagement either way. Funny enough. I prefer the likes. Central bank currency thing I've already answered earlier. You'll have to like rewind. Richard, just want to say I've never learned more from anyone in my life about life more than you, honestly. Well, thanks, Sereno Joe. You should check out my free book. You'll probably love it. t.me/scivive, SCIVIVE. And there's actually more than one free book there. So enjoy it. Merry Christmas. Hey, Richard, do I like domestic cars? Yeah, all right. If you name a TikTok and link your other accounts, I think you would do well, Richard. Do you mean make a TikTok? I don't know what name a TikTok means. The Visionaires guy that wrote the SEC hater question has now typed, Visionaires, you are a legend. So he's either ironically funny or trying to multi-box and compliment himself. Or he's got a multiple personality disorder. Who knows? I won't ban him yet. Would it be more beneficial to put up HEX and eHEX as LP or stake and get double stakes? Traditionally, I think staking HEX has murdered being an LP for HEX, and as far as returns are concerned. So ham and pierogies, lol. Why do so many hate you? You're a great guy. Thanks. Everybody gets hate. If you put a video of a puppy running in a field on the internet, it's going to get 5% dislikes. If you do anything, 5% of people hate it. There's people that live by hating things. That's what they do in their free time. They work, they come home, or they live in their mom's basement, and they just stay home, and then they just type hate. That's what they do in their free time. They hate. So it ain't avoidable. It ain't going away. And then if you're cocky, you're going to get more, right? And that's fine because it's asymmetrically beneficial to me. Like being polarizing is very useful in community building. Being lukewarm and not existing is not useful. Hey, you know that lukewarm guy that's real popular? Maybe Jimmy Fallon, I guess. But like, other than talk show hosts, that play just doesn't really work. And it's not my identity. Hey, Richard, would it be technically possible for the incentive token to be a stable coin? No. Or would that not work? No. It inflates. I think it's going to have volatility. I could imagine some type of theoretical algorithmic madness to try and answer your question in some roundabout and possible kind of way, but I think no is a more useful answer to you. I never would have heard about the stream if I didn't have the subscribe and bell smashed. Thanks, Donkey Kongington. I was not hating. I'm actually going all in on you. Smiley face heart. See, Visionaires, I'm glad I didn't ban you. Richard, what's the giveaway and what should I do to get it? Go to t.me/pulsechaincom and read. Noisia, says somebody. It's a drum and bass artist. That makes some good stuff. How'd I like London? Well, it was overpriced. You're the man, Richard. Thanks for everything you've done and continue to do. Greatest founder in crypto. Thanks, man. Jungle is massive. Synthwave? Synthwave's all right. I like Synthwave too. I just don't usually play it, but if it comes on, I'm not switching it. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, yeah, they're great. Pendulum, great. Man, am I hungry. I never listen to jazz. I'm starving here. Visionaire says, thank you for giving me this information. I was actually unaware. Hey, my pleasure, man. Glad I could help. Hey, Richard, you seem a bit stressed. You ever take a load off? I'm not stressed. It's literally just reading YouTube comments. Like, if you want to give yourself cancer, just go pick any random